Are you considering a hair transplant in Turkey because you heard it's both affordable and popular, but you are concerned about safety and don't know where to start your research? Well, you're in the right place. I'm Seda, a native Turkish teacher living in Turkey, and I've done my homework for you guys, and I've got some valuable insights to share with you. I know. Now you're like wondering, what does a Turkish teacher know about hair transplant? Yeah, you're right, I'm not a doctor. But, as I said before, I've done my homework for you. And also, many of my students have traveled here for this procedure specifically. And I've delved into their own experience to provide you insights and information about hair transplant in Turkey as a foreigner. And in this video, I'll shed a light on aspects that may not be so obvious, widely known if you are not living in Turkey or speak the language. This video is free from any promotional content, and I have no affiliations with any healthcare institutions. So you can trust, and I'm here to offer you unbiased information. And although being unbiased, keep in mind that I'm not a healthcare professional, I'm just a teacher. So I'm only sharing my research using my proficiency in the Turkish language. So please do your own research and consult with your healthcare worker. Plus, I had the chance to interview with one of my students, Mark, who has experienced a hair transplant in Turkey last year. Stick around to hear his insight at the end of this video, okay? And this will be a long video, so buckle up, get your tea, and let's get started, okay? Okay. I want to say that I'm not going to talk about the technical or medical details about hair transplant. I assume you already watched like a ton of videos on this topic from various healthcare providers, which you should. I'm here to provide you information specifically about Turkey and how this procedure works here. Okay, first thing first. Let's talk about the obvious, okay? Hair transplant in Turkey is cheaper than most places. Why is that? Is Turkey a kind of third world country? Is that why? No, of course not. First of all, Turkey is not a third world country. It's a developing country, okay? With a growing economy and a very strong healthcare system. It's gonna be a controversial for me because the cost of hair transplant in Turkey is not actually cheap for us. What do you mean by us? Turkish citizen. It is lower than in many developed countries for a number of reasons. You see, the Turkish economy is not its best shape lately. And so, although it's incredibly bad for us, the citizens, Turkey boasts a remarkable exchange rate advantage for foreigners. For example, nowadays, like $1 is approximately 28 Turkish liras, and euro has its own rate, which is higher. So, that's not the only part of the story. Local doctors have their own expenses like rent, taxes, staff salaries, and so on. And all these expenses are paid in Turkish lira. However, when they receive payments in foreign currencies, you do the math. This unique situation allows them to offer competitive prices while still enjoying a decent income. In essence, Turkish doctors aren't cutting corners or providing cheap services. Instead, they maintain their earnings in Turkish lira, keeping their prices reasonable because they get USD dollars or euros. in return. So if you are contemplating a hair transplant in Turkey, you can expect high quality service and result without draining your wallet. Okay. Also, Turkish government is very supportive of medical tourism, and it has implemented policies that make it easier for foreign patients and of course clinics to receive and give treatments in Turkey. This has helped to make Turkey a more attractive destination for hair transplants and other medical procedures such as dental procedures and so on. Okay, let's assume that you decided to get your hair transplant here. So what is next? Even though it may not sound like it, this is a surgery nonetheless, right? So you have to be sure and do your research very well. How are you going to find the right place? You know, you feel lost and surrounded by a sea of online ads, all claiming they are the best in their field, wondering where to begin your journey of research. Well, you are not alone. When you are at home contemplating a hair transplant and starting your research, it can be a bit daunting. But fear not, I've got you covered. When I find myself in such a situation, my go-to strategy is always checking out official government pages. It's like my trusty compass in the digital, wilderness. So let's kick things off with that approach here. The official website of Turkish Ministry of Health. This is the most trusted resource for your journey. I will share the link of Turkish Ministry of Health in the description box, so don't forget to check it out. Okay, when you visit the site, you will see it has an English option as well. So you can surf without the language barrier, and there you will find Health Türkiye link. Okay, Health Türkiye. When you go to click that link, and when you go to the Health Türkiye link, it's like a treasure trove of information about health tourism in Turkey. As a foreigner, you will find almost everything you need and you will feel safer. And it's available even in different languages like French, Arabic, and etc. And this means that it's accessible to people from all corners of the globe. Enough with the talking here. Let's check it together on the website, okay? And then let's come back. Okay, here is the website, and you see Health Türkiye here, and when you click on it, you see everything about Turkish health tourism here. How you can get the visa, and you can search in general or hospitals and doctors. I write here hair transplant, and you can click on it, and you see the process of getting the service, and it shows everything step by step, and you can also choose the cities, and you can look for hospitals, doctors, everything on the map, and you can choose the language, and this is the page you plan your treatment. Okay, Health Türkiye, and you can also choose the languages, and you go and check out the page and check out the frequently asked questions part, and I'm sure you will find everything you need here. And as you can see, this website is the government website, so everything here is verified by the Turkish government. So go and check it out. As you can see, this website takes a lot of pressure from your shoulders. It's not an online ad or a commercial, but a ministry page. You can trust the information you get here. It's accurate. And there is more. If you are more like me, nerd, and want to dig deeper when you search something, I will give you another website this is also a government website, and I will also share this in the description box. This is Health Tourism Department's website, okay? Health Tourism Departments. And as I said, you will find the link in the description box. Go ahead, click and explore all the details for yourself. But wait, there is more. They have even set up a hotline that you can call anywhere in the world. This is government website. It's like having a global 24/7 hotline for all your health tourism questions. So no matter where you are starting from or what language you speak or what you know, this is your ultimate resource to make your hair transplant journey informative, okay? And also you can find the update lists for authorized healthcare providers. This is very important. These providers in the list are authorized by the government, okay? And the list gets updated often. So you don't have to take the word of the clinic you found online. You can check it yourself if they are authorized, accredited by the government. Okay? Okay. Since the hair transplant procedures are getting popular, the Turkish government is working really hard on its regulations as well. The Turkish Ministry of Health published new regulations in May 2023 with additional regulations issued in this month, November 2023. Okay, just a couple of days ago, they published a new regulation. And the Ministry of Health tweeted about it. I will put it somewhere here. And if you like to know what the Turkish government expects from the health institutions doing hair transplant procedures, you can find the latest regulations in the description box. Unfortunately, of course, this will be in Turkish, but don't worry, because you can just copy and paste it into an online translator and translate it into your language. This way you will know what the government expects from these clinics, and you can ask if they have it or not, whatever these regulations say. But in general, the regulatory changes in Saç ekimi yönetmeliği, hair transplant regulation, mainly affect healthcare professionals, clinics, and practitioners involved in hair transplant procedures in Turkey, and about their education, the extra courses, etc., etc. And their aim is to improve the quality and safety of these procedures. And for foreign patients seeking hair transplant services in Turkey, these changes are really good and indirectly benefit you, because when these type of regulations are strengthened, it can lead to a better and safer healthcare standards, more qualified practitioners, and improved facilities in the country in general. And it's important to choose accredited and licensed clinics and practitioners, as this regulations ensures that these entities meet specific quality and safety standards and measures. And therefore, these regulatory updates contribute to a safer and more reliable environment for individuals seeking hair transplant procedures in Turkey. One more thing. If you are more like a face-to-face person, you can always visit, at least call the Turkish embassy in your region. Since the Turkish government takes health tourism seriously, I'm sure they have people there to guide you. And also you can join the Turkish communities in your area to get familiar with the country and the people, like my student Mark did. So, in short, I provided you official website for health tourism, the list of accredited clinics and hospitals, the new regulations of the government on hair transplant procedure, the 24/7 government helpline for foreign patients. And the rest is on you. This is your health. You do the research and take the procedure seriously and trust that Turkish healthcare is really good in general. Founder of Turkish Republic, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, said, "Beni Türk doktorlarına emanet edin," which means that entrust me to Turkish doctors. And I agree with him. Although there are many problems in every healthcare system all over the world, Turkish healthcare is relatively working very well, and Turkish doctors are really good. And a lot of my Turkish friends who live abroad, like in the States, England, all over the world, they come home for healthcare services because they trust the Turkish healthcare system. Okay, I think enough of me talking. Now it's time for my student Mark to answer my questions about his experience in Turkey when he got his hair transplant. Let's hear his story, okay? I will see you in a bit.
Hello, Seda. This is Mark here, and I'm here to answer some of your questions about hair transplants in Turkey. So, your first question to me was, after deciding to get a hair transplant, what was the first thing you researched, and how did Turkey come up? So, what I can say to answer this question is that I first researched, what do hair transplants cost? I live in the United States, and I first began to research here how much a hair transplant would cost, and I was quite surprised and disappointed. I didn't think there was any hope for me to get a hair transplant at all. So how did Turkey come up? Well, the year was 2017. I was in Peru visiting my sister-in-law, met once again my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is from the country of Netherlands, and when we were talking there and preparing for his wedding, we were of course commenting about how handsome he was. He has blonde hair and blue eyes, and at one point in the conversation he said, I wasn't always this handsome. And we were all kind of surprised, and my sister-in-law was surprised. And so, how can you say that? He says, well, there was a time in my life where I didn't have any hair. And he says, I got a hair transplant. And we all looked at each other, and then we asked him, well, where, how? And he says, oh, I went to Turkey. So that was the beginning of my questioning concerning Turkey. So my next question Seda has asked me is, why did you decide to have a hair transplant in Turkey? Well, the main factor is my brother-in-law. The way my brother-in-law looked after his transplant, you would never know he ever had a hair transplant unless you told him. The second factor is cost and affordability. So in my research, I first went to a hair transplant clinic in the United States, a very common one known as Bosley. And after a consultation, they said, okay, in your case, and this was in the year 2018, your price will be $16,000. I guessed. He said, $16,000? I can't afford that. So I thought about how I would finance. I said, oh, I really want to do this. But then there was one thing in that consultation. And with that in mind, I said to myself, I have some hope here. So I think I need to do some more research. Where else can I get a hair transplant that I can afford, that's in my budget? So then I remembered that conversation I had with my brother-in-law. Oh, I went to Turkey. I went to Istanbul. So then I decided to have a little bit more of a conversation with him, and it led to a conversation of which clinic he used. And that led to a whole nother slew of research. So the next question is, what factors did you choose in considering a clinic in Turkey? So when I was researching clinics, I considered three factors. Number one, cost. Number two, reputation. Number three, packages. So if you consider anywhere, whether it's Turkey or other countries, there are other countries that do hair transplants, most notably South Korea, Poland, and India, as well as Mexico, that do these things. But you really need to consider those three factors, as well as how much of a reputation do they have medically. In my research, what I considered most important was how clean, how hygienic, and what was their reputation, how many likes did they get, were the comments legitimate or not. It did lead me to three different clinics before I chose a hospital. So I'd like to share with you what were my most helpful aspects of the research process I used, and what were some of the most challenging aspects. So the most helpful was just my own determination, and also my understanding of search limiters and taxonomies. I happen to work in the field of information science, so my background in research and data gathering really helped in this process. Google was my main tool. However, the other were two others. As I mentioned, my brother-in-law, I did contact the hospital, or rather the clinic he used. And then I did two other things. One, I decided to help myself out, and I said, if I'm really going to go to Turkey, I need to study the language. So then I started to do research about the language. In my process, I hired a teacher that worked with me very hard, very thoroughly online. And then I also reached out to my local Turkish community. And I did not know that I had a Turkish community literally surrounding me. I had an opportunity of a lifetime. At this particular cultural institution in my state, I happened to meet the Turkish ambassador to the United States. It was a public gathering, and in the process of meeting that gentleman, Mr. Mirkat Murad, I also got to meet other local Turkish citizens that are living in my state. And that's how I got to go to the next part. So I'd like to add a little bit of an answer to that. So again, I chose a hospital for those two reasons, family and friends. So as I mentioned, I made friends within the Turkish community in my state. One of them decided as a favor to me when he went to visit his family to research the clinic that I was talking with in Istanbul. Originally, I was going to go to a clinic in Istanbul, one of over 500. When I gave him the address and he looked it up, he says, I didn't find any hospital or clinic there. The other red flag was because so many of these hair transplants have packages. When I said, hey, I'd like to bring my family with me, I have a wife and two children, they said, well, we can do that, but they're all going to be in separate rooms. And I said, that doesn't make sense. That's not very safe. So those two things made me decide I'm not going to go with a clinic. So in my research, I found that there are over 500 hair transplant clinics in Istanbul alone. And throughout Turkey, there are thousands of others, and the most specialized clinics happen to be in the capital, Ankara. Turkey has a reputation for being very innovative medically concerning hair and dental transplant operations. In fact, it's such a big business, it fetches over $1 billion a year into Turkey's economy. Istanbul, like I said, has over 500 clinics. The two factors. Number one, I knew Turkish friends that I made, and second, my family. Those were the two biggest factors. And as a result, I did not choose a clinic. I instead chose a hospital. So my Turkish friend here in the United States said to me, well, we trust one of two hospitals, either Acıbadem or Medicana. So I researched both, and I went with one of them. I was asked, how much time did I actually spend in Turkey to have the hair transplant? So I decided to bring my family. I said, let's kill two birds with one stone. My kids and my wife were very excited to visit another country. And although it was a long journey, it was worth it. So the actual hair transplant surgery itself was approximately 8 hours. It was from about 8:30 in the morning with a break at 1 in the afternoon for a lunch. It was a very delicious, nutritious lunch, I will say. And then we ended around 5:30 in the afternoon. Then there was a post follow-up 3 days later. The best part, of course, of getting the hair transplant is knowing that your life is going to change. And it's the hope that your life is going to change for the better. And what was also really good, and this is so true about Turkey in general, is that people are super attentive. I have never had so much attention given to the slightest detail of everything from what I eat to how I felt on the operating table. I was not put to sleep. I was awake the whole 7 to 8 hours. It was a very long process, and I thought to myself, no pain, no gain. I also thought, hey, I'm a very spiritual person, so that, well, God's with me. I've gotten this far. I'm going to be fine. Okay, so the worst part of my transplant was the intense activity which causes inflammation at the time. But actually, what was hard was actually once I came back, I had to spend a whole month basically inside my house, or if I did go outside, I'd use an umbrella. And for the first 3.5 months post-surgery, I had to use an umbrella practically everywhere to protect my head. I had to retrain myself of even to today, how I wash my hair. I have to use a cup. I have to use very special shampoos and conditioners, some of which only exist in Turkey. I can't buy it on eBay or Amazon. So the cost of my hair transplant in Turkey, I will tell you, it was less than $3,000. But combined with all the other things, the tourism, the travel expenses with air flights for all of my family, was approximately $6,000. It varies from place to place. It also depends on what the surgeon can determine as an estimate of total grafts, meaning hair follicles extracted and then replanted into you. It's approximately 50 cents a follicle. I had approximately 4,100 hair follicles extracted and reimplanted into my head. I would say that his estimate was 50% recovery of my head. I believe that post-surgery and consulting with my surgeon, which, by the way, after your surgery, you are a patient of that hospital indefinitely. And I can talk with that surgeon on a 24-hour basis, which is really nice. So it was less than $2,000 for me, I will say that much. It just depends on how much can be extracted. I actually wasn't even going to have the surgery at this hospital. I actually had to negotiate. Originally, the surgeon thought that I wanted 100% recovery. And I said, I'll take whatever I can get. He says, how about 50%? I said, sold, I'll do it. He says, you're my patient, I can do this. So, would I recommend anyone for a hair transplant in Turkey? The answer is yes. I would say I'm highly satisfied with my hair transplant. My deepest expression to say is çok seviyorum Türkiye. I love you, Turkey, because your country and the skilled medical professionals gave me back part of my life. I can't thank the Republic of Turkey and the hospital and the surgeons. I'm just in awe. My family even has fallen in love with you guys as a country. I would definitely go back, and I'm actually planning a second trip, part tourism and kind of a part 2 of my surgery. One thing that you have to understand, if you go through a hair transplant anywhere in the world, the surgeon can only work with however many hairs are in the back of your head. Okay, so they use the back of your neck, back of your head, and even beard, okay, as the sites to get fresh hair follicles. So if you don't have enough follicles, even if you had $1 million or €1 million, the surgeon can say, sorry, I can't do anything with you. So the only thing I was really worried about with coming to Turkey was the protection of my family, which, thank God, things worked out just fine. After a lot of research, we also hired a tour guide for part of our tour. Any fears that I had were gone. Any medical fears I had were totally gone once I got to the hospital. The hospital I went to was comparable to any hospital in the United States. It was simply super hygienic, super clean, super efficient, super friendly people. I met lots of friendly people all over Turkey. I'll never forget you. You guys are amazing people, really. Super hospitable. The food incredible. Even the hospital food was incredible. And the only thing that could have made me more comfortable is maybe knowing even more of the language and not feeling so rushed. We are in the works of having a second trip, hopefully to Turkey, and I'd like to spend at least 10, if not 14 days this next time, including potential second surgery. Nothing against the first surgery. It was awesome. It has been life-changing. It's insulated my body. It's made me look 10 years younger. So I'm very, very thankful for that. So anyways, keep on reaching out, keep on learning new things, and görüşürüz. Take care. Güle güle. Have a good day.
That's it, guys. I hope this video helped you. Turkey is a fantastic country for many things, including healthcare services. If you happen to decide to do the procedure here, I recommend staying a bit longer than necessary and explore and enjoy the culture, the food, and the hospitality. I'm sure you'll live with great memories. Also, if you're interested in learning Turkish, feel free to stay on my channel, Turkish Tales of Wonder. You can find information about Turkey and get to know the language, Turkish, and much more. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and share. Hoşça kalın. Bye. We come together all around the world to learn Turkish. Thanks, guys, for watching me. I will see you next time. Görüşürüz.